Greg and Ange, they talk about anime, they scream and shout on shows you've never seen or heard. They're all awesome, please take their word. This cast ain't all it seems to be, between just you and me. Guess it's all an anime daydream.
Hi.
Mayday.
Mayday, what do you mean?
Mayday is remains my short nickname for Anime Daydream.
I don't get it.
Yeah, if you chop off the front and the last part, Annie and Dream.
I thought you said there was some kind of emergency.
No, the emergency is we saw an anime. We both saw the same anime for once.
That's not really an emergency, but...
The emergency is we have to talk about it. Podcast reasons? I don't know. Why are we here? Good point. This is deep. Welcome to Metacast, where we look puzzled at the microphone and don't even always say out loud, "Why am I speaking to this microphone?
Why am I talking to you about a show?"
It was a decent show, I think.
What show?
This week's month.
But anyway,
bi-week's show is
But before we get into that, let's do a little warming up.
Warming up? What do you mean?
Could just go into an emergency without warming up.
We always do. It's kind of the point of the show, in a way. We don't script this.
No, but, how are you, Greg?
I'll just take my socks off. That's a pretty good sign. If I'm judging my life by any real particular means. How are you?
Pretty good. Just wait until Friday. For those of you who are wondering why Friday and who knows when this will be posted, that's when Pokemon Sun and Moon finally comes out. Finally.
And finally not pay to go to Hawaii.
I still want to go Hawaii. Especially with that new Disney movie that's coming out.
Because Disney Nintendo told me so.
This has all been a ploy by Hawaii to get more people to visit them.
Because King Corporate of the East and the West were just like, yeah, let's throw them some money.
So, while we're on that note, what team are you for, Greg?
Rocket? What's the question?
No, are you Team Litton, Team Poplio, or Team Rowlett?
I'm Team Maui. I want to see that movie. Looks pretty good. Mr. The Rock is in it. Owl. Didn't we go this last time? What I said last time, I was being the Archer Owl.
Still going Poplio as of right now. I don't think that will change at this point.
You keep considering the Litton, though.
I do a little bit. Incineroar is kind of growing on me, so...
People are mad that he has no actual wrestling moves, though.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Random thread was like, bad guy wrestler doesn't know submission or flying press or whatever it is.
Maybe a move tutor or something.
Not even low kick or sucker punch.
Oh yeah, it's not firefighting, so...
Isn't sucker punch dark or something? Or ghost?
Sucker punch is ghost or dark, I forget. That's true. I could have learned that. But anyway, now that we're warmed up...
Oh, okay. That's all. Took 2 questions. Got it. Yeah. Our main course after that warm-up, which doesn't fully carry over as a metaphor.
What do you mean? Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to go for.
Run around the block. But then you actually eat a sandwich.
No, the reason why I went into a warm-up is because there's a lot of training that went on in the anime that we are talking about today. Just as we keep things topical, last week was time travel, and now we are training. And warming up is the first part of training.
Well, it wasn't as much training as you would think from a show called the Afterschool Superhero Club, which I think is pointedly part of why they did it. It's not Boku no Hero Academy.
But if we had to say there was anything similar to it, it would be like that.
It's kind of like that with what was that show? Not Genshiken. It was a nonsense G word. I feel like with the manga club or the visual arts club or whatever it was.
I think no, the Genshiken is that manga college club thing.
Maybe.
I never watched it, but I know that's what that is. So
if that's what I'm thinking of, then yeah, that was all right. I read a volume of that. Watched 3 episodes. But yeah, it is much more club activity than it is fighting crime.
Alright, so tell us a little bit about it, dude.
Bare bones. It is a girl in high school, I believe. I always get kind of confused with the grades over there.
Of course, high school, it's what the usual trope is.
Yeah, like early high school. She has a YouTube channel.
No, of course it's not called YouTube.
Yeah, it was like HooTube. And had a little owl on it. But relevant. Take it back. But she has a online persona of her cosplay of her OC character, Pan-chan, who is like a magical girl with a frying pan. She bonks evil and does like little sketches with like her brother on it of her fighting crime, and she's got like some followers, and she's like, man, this is a lot of fun. I love doing it anyway. I love superheroes and magical girls so much. I should make a superhero club for everybody else who loves superheroes. And
wait, she was just born with powers, right?
no, she has no powers. That's
this
that's the hilarity of our situation. That's the wackiness in this sitcom.
So she's just the hero of Taku.
Yes, she's just she doesn't know there's heroes until episode like 0.5, because she puts up flyers for come join the superhero after school club.
Yeah, this one's a regular 13 episode series.
Mm-hmm.
So
15-minute episodes too, because they were mostly gaggy in general.
Still had an opening and ending, so
yeah. But yeah, so she opens her club and she's like, everybody appreciating superheroes show up, and she gets like one other otaku and like everybody else has actual powers. And they're like, we're part of the superhero club. What's up? When we fighting crime? And
yeah, she was kind of like, oh god, what do we do? But what was her name? I forget.
Actual name?
Yeah. We shouldn't just keep referring to her as her. It's gonna get mixed up.
Pan-chan was her super character name. It was like Yukio or Yushio, something like that.
No, I think it was just Yuki.
I think they called it Yuki-chan. That might have been short. I am not positive. But
maybe you should have fact checked, Greg.
That's not what we do here.
Oh, that's totally what we do here.
Fine, get fucking Google.
The Google copter.
Google.
Yeah, pretty much she's like, oh crap, what do? I have all these superheroes now.
I'm scared of Google, hang on.
I have all these superheroes now in a club. And then she kind of just panics and pretty much just wings it.
Okay, it's just Yuki. I'm probably got Yu Hakusho or something mixed in there somewhere. But yeah, she gets caught up with what were some of the what were your highlight favorite characters of the other actual supers that she meets?
Did we ever get their real names, or was it only in their superhero names?
They mostly use superhero names, but we got like a little like profile.
Because I remember they were all in costume.
Yeah, most of them were in costume, except for the one girl who's like, I'm not actually a hero. I am here for the comic books. I read the Batman.
I guess Chicken Man kind of stood out.
Oh, Chicken Man. I don't think they watched Who Wants to Be a Superhero, but goddamn.
Yeah, pretty much this kind of pudgy dude dressed up in a white chicken costume and
he has the power to create chicken meat.
Yeah. Yeah, he can
so he can make himself a turkey leg, or he can be like raw chicken meat. Everyone has salmonella.
No, not a turkey leg, a chicken leg.
Yeah, it has chicken leg, but
Don't want to confuse people with Turkey Dude.
Yep. What?
His arch rival.
Oh, okay. I forgot he was an actual character.
He always talked about him, and I don't know how
Do we
you
meet
forgot.
him? Like,
No, he only talked about him.
He's like, don't get me started.
Because Turkey Dude would like confuse people with like his colors on his
He would like draw on his outfit to confuse them. He's like, frickin' turkey man painted my costume brown again. Everyone thinks I'm a turkey.
Yes, that would be especially troublesome around Thanksgiving.
Oh, troublesome.
Everybody kept trying to eat chicken
that was
man
like his
the 1 year.
Whenever he got like too stressed out, he'd like eat a chicken nugget and be like, oh, troublesome.
Yeah, that's ironic. Chicken man eats a lot of chicken, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
he makes chicken. What's he gonna do?
I don't know.
It's probably why he's obese.
Probably. He could go feed the world.
What was the other guy?
I think there were like 4 in the club, right? Besides Yuki.
Some can't win, but it was kind of like 4 regulars. There was Masu, who was the girl who could grow giant, mostly when she's angry.
Did she have a superhero name or no?
Yes. It was like a Japanese word for big or something. I forget.
To the Google Copter.
Everybody hear me clackety clacking.
But you said she could grow giant, like the 7 deadly sins. The giant that's in there.
Okino was her super name because Oki means big. I guess it's a thing. I don't know, but yeah, when she would shit talk with the psychic kid. She would just often like they'd butt heads and she'd be like, "What was that?" and like smash the ceiling again.
Yeah, I think his name was like Alakanope.
Alakanope.
Yeah. Because Alakazam's copyrighted, so.
The word?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, that's not. They can use Alakazam, but the Pokemon's issue was that they can't bend spoons. Because there was some guy who that was his thing, even though it's a lot of psychics' things, as I understand it. But he was like, Pokemon, you can't do that. I do that. I'm also a person. Therefore, Kadabra is copyright. And like, there's some kind of issue with the Pokemon cards can't show Kadabra bending a spoon or something like that.
So that's why it was censored. I was wondering.
Was it censored?
Yeah, because in that one episode where he was showing off his powers, the spoons were censored, and I'm like, what, did they have blood on them or something? And that makes sense.
What was the guy, though?
But he was just basically... Alakanope was pretty much just basic psychic powers, run-of-the-mill telepathy.
Yeah, he was kind of like... The joke was he was pretty much omniscient, so...
Yeah.
He was super, like, whatever. Else. There was Shardo, who was the ice guy. He couldn't make ice sculptures of anything, but they all looked really derpy and like they worked fine. But yeah, everyone was kind of
like those like Chinese knockoff figures. They kind of look like that. It was
kind of like a little melty, where the principal had like a shitty like 3-line face kind of thing. If he did a statue of him,
pretty much. Excuse me, Shard was pretty much a defensive character or kind of like a distraction. So I guess he was kind of like the bard of the group.
They were like, oh no, we stayed too late. He's like, I'll handle this. And he made like a fake janitor or something out of ice to block the way. And just the principal was just like, God damn it.
Also, he was able to make ice during the summer. He didn't need to be around water or anything. He just kind of manifested.
Well, they had that gag and like for the pre-commercial stuff with their powers with like little 2-second jokes. He'd be like, haha, giant snow golem. Everyone can make snow cones now. And they start just taking it apart.
But yeah, so pretty much what happened was Yuki got all these people together and she was like, what do I do? So they kind of started off with just remedial stuff first. Like, they all worked at a soup kitchen, I remember. And obviously, Chicken Man... They did chicken soup, so he supplied the chicken, but he kept eating it, so there wasn't that much chicken left in the actual soup. And Shard kept accidentally freezing it, so they kept on having to rewarm the soup up, and all of the soup spoons got bent by Alakanope.
Soupsicles? Like, no, we can't do that.
And obviously the giant girl wasn't really good at serving because she kind of broke through the building.
She could serve like 50 plates at once, but she would destroy the ceiling. So I love in the club room, even when she wasn't, the ceiling over her was always like under construction or taped up. Like she had just done it anyway.
Yeah, pretty much a whole season, Yuki has to figure out what to do with all these super people.
Yeah, there's not, to our knowledge, not like a lot of super people and not a lot of super crime, especially. So a lot of it is her trying to stall them so they don't get bored and leave the club.
Pretty much, yeah.
Costume design was a major thing that she's actually good at because she's a cosplayer.
Yeah, she designed all their costumes.
Yeah, she like ate a few weeks of like, no, I want this on. Like, no, I want this on. I'm gonna draw it like this. And when fucking Noonie, I think was his Noonie was his super name. He wasn't there the whole time, but he could wiggle his earlobes, and everybody was like, I guess it's a power, but like he kept doing it for like too long. Everyone would start giggling. It like was kind of his power, basically. Like he could make everybody laugh.
That must have been weird.
He was like a 2-episode character kind of thing, and like it wasn't clear if he.
Oh yeah, and just
I guess like he like wanted actually fighting crime and like just distracting everybody by being the ultimate distraction with his like.
And I guess since we forgot to mention this, but this was based off of a 4-koma manga.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
So, still ongoing in Japan.
Well, I guess at first, how would you set the show in general? Like, how would you gauge the show? Like up, down?
I guess I would gauge it as a slice of life Boku no Hero.
Yeah, if you liked the slow parts where they're like, I can't get a job at the post office, I'm psychic and stuff like that. Which is more of a top 10 thing, a comic book. But I mean, quality wise, how would you assess? 1 to 10 kind of thing. What'd you give this one?
I'd say like a 7.5. I mean, Nara was pretty average, not really bad, not really great at times, because like I said, slice of life, so you didn't really see a lot of, like, there were a couple action sequences which they saved the budget for, but most of the time they were just either kind of sitting around or they were going out.
That one time, they saved everybody.
They would go out to parks and rescue cats stuck in trees and
be like molester whistleblowers.
At one point, they were pretty much Girl Scouts, and they had to do candy. Well, not candy, cookies.
Yeah, they had to do the bake sale.
But instead of it being called Girl Scouts, it was called something else. I forget.
She wanted to call it heroin scouts, but they're like, why is it all female?
Yeah.
You're these half boys. But the reason I asked the quality first was, what do you think about... I was fucking in love with the opening song.
Yeah, that's true. We don't really talk about the openings and endings on this show so much, but no, it was pretty good. It would always leave it on. I don't know who did the song called, what was it called? I think it was called Hero Sandwich, but...
Hero Sandwich Rock, that was it. Because it had the like very guitar-heavy like instrumentals.
It was all kind of them... it was all kind of them just eating a sandwich.
Yeah, it was weird. But then, like the ending at the ED, that was like fake generic shonen opening where they're fighting.
Yeah, it was kind of reversed because usually like the chibi kind of calm ending theme is usually is the calm thing is usually the ending, and the hype you up is the opening. But
yeah, get you glad to see it, and then kind of sad but cool, but chill to see it go.
I don't know if they did that intentionally or not, or if somebody goofed that up and they just decided to keep it. I don't know.
I mean, most shows do, but I know that you've seen an episode or a series or two where I commented on that, where I was like, "That's dumb. This show is backwards." Like. Can't remember which one it was now, but it was like da 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 da, opening, and then like ending was like, not this one, the other show, but
no, this is an example of it. You know?
Yeah, it was like real like acoustic guitar, rocky kind of opening,
but
and more electric. ED.
Yeah, it was kind of just an instrumental ED. Didn't really have a singer. Probably because of the budget of it being a 15-minute show.
I mean, I feel like if you could afford an opening song, you could afford a singer. You would just get somebody who... That's the thing I want to address. How do anime openings work? Like, clearly there's some that are written for, like, the One Punch song, where it's like, hero, one punch, and...
Oh, there are...
There's some that are just like... I want to hold your hand and looky dookie dookie. And
well, no, a lot of those poppy ones are actually the voice actresses from the show.
Huh. But is it like written for the show, or is it like they have an album and they hire them and give them a and just take you like, as part of the contract, use one of their songs for the opening?
No, because usually what happens is they'll write a song, and that song will just go on a single. It doesn't usually go on a regular CD. Like, the EDs and the openings are their own singles. Like, they don't really go on the artist CDs so much.
So if I made up an anime for some crazy reason, if I was like, I want to do Captain Derp the anime, and I need an opening theme song, would the standard practice, you think, be to go out in the market and go through all these J-pop idols and be like, this one sounds good for the show. Hire that.
Not necessarily. Depends on who the voice actresses are on the show. Like, well, if they're really...
Captain Habadop is... I'm fucking bad at making up animes. If Captain Habadop was a woman, would I be expected to make Captain Habadop's VA sing the opening?
Yeah, either the opening and the ending. That's usually what happens in those type of shows. I mean, with more action-oriented shows, they usually get rock bands. Or, like, if it's a high-budget show, they'll get, like, a high-budget or popular at the time voice actress or actor. Like, for example, Utano Prince-sama always has an opening from,
Is it the one you watch that's all, like, handsome man idols?
Right, but they always have an opening from...
Well, that's most of the show.
No, but they always have an opening from the one character, and I forget his name right now, but there's always an opening by him, and then the ending is done by all the voice actors, but the opening's always done by him, and he's very popular. It's like Miyano or whatever.
Oh, but
yeah, so that's how... He always does the opening for Utano Prince-sama. None of the other voice actors do it. So I guess it kind of depends on probably the animation studio, what their contracts are, who they're affiliated with, etc., etc. Politics, probably.
So what's your advice to me when I make Captain Harbinger? What would you suggest I hire as my producer?
So that I have no idea. Now we're getting into politics. I'm watching this one anime this season called Girlish Number, and it's about this cocky girl who's just getting started into voice acting. And basically, it goes over like the first gig that she got. Turns out to be a really crappy anime because they had no budget, and it shows like what can happen in the studio, like if the producers don't care or somebody over budgets, and it's really interesting so far, but yeah, so she was freaking out and was like, oh my god, we sold 10,000 copies of the CD, and one of the more experienced voice actresses was like, oh, only 10,000? Oh, don't worry about it, there's always other gigs. So voice actresses depend a lot on not only the show, but also the merchandise and the CDs affiliated with them.
Yeah, even I was pretty sure that they rely on... Like, voice acting is mostly a springboard thing to be idols and celebrity stuff.
Right, so I guess either if you were thinking about producing, I guess try to get either new talent or have a lot of money to hire old talent. It's pretty much the pot. Yeah, it depends on what studio with. I know the baseline animators apparently don't get a lot of money. You don't get a lot of money until you start working your way up and like that. And I heard the hours are crazy long, and just we could do a whole episode dedicated to the politics of animation.
I couldn't. This is all if we make it up. But you know what? We're not here to talk about made up stuff. We're here to talk about Afterschool Superhero Club.
But anyway, so we warmed up and
warmed down.
We did a little bit of training, but we didn't actually talk about the training arc.
Yeah, when they're...
She pretty much just has them going around the school. She has a whistle in her mouth and just has them doing remedial exercises. And she tried to, like...
It's the exercise that she admits she did to, like, keep her figure down while she's cosplaying and stuff.
And she also tries to regimen exercises based on what they do, so... Like, Chicken Man has to throw a certain amount of chicken at the certain speed.
You did
hit
targets. Something about you was all about Chicken Man.
Or, like, Ala Kanope has to bend a certain amount of spoons per day, and she has, like, all these training regimens for all of them,
and
so...
He's, like... He was weirdly into and against the spoons thing, because he's, like...
He didn't want to be that stereotype, you know?
Yeah, it's what he always did, just to show. And she's like, all right, you got to bend 1,000 spoons. And he's like, I can do more shit than that. And, like... He's like, I can destroy buildings. He's like, no, spoons.
But yeah, so they had a little mini training arc. And the series ended pretty openly because, as you know, it's still continuing in Japan. It just kind of ended with them finally actually doing a superhero mission. What was the villain that they fought again? I know it was some low rank, but...
It was like Nitro. I think it was supposed to be like Light and Nitro because he had like the laser gauntlets that kept knocking him over. Didn't do any actual damage, just knock people over. There's like his knockover beam or something he called it.
Yeah, so pretty much the star of that was... Pretty much the star of that fight was Shard, though, because he just set up decoys that that dude was an idiot and he didn't realize that they were statues.
Yeah, he kept
trying to attack them.
We kept knocking everybody over, and they were just like, "All right, we can't just walk up this guy." And Abracano was just like, "I can just take the building down around him," and they're like, "No, there's people in the building."
Yeah, and the Giantess was ready to just throw buildings, and pretty much Yuki has to keep all these people in check, or otherwise they could end up like villains.
She is the most heroic by far out of them, in like pure personality. Not effectiveness at all, because she just like can like bunk one person at a time. But she's the one who takes them down. No, she's the one who gets the... She
did a really good job at managing them, I think.
Yeah, but she gets her like super proud moment at the end where she takes her time to shine and whips the frying pan and bonks him in the head with it. And when he's like taking out the decoys. And
wasn't that also in Powerpuff Girls?
Frying pan? No, I don't think so.
Didn't they bonk somebody?
You might be thinking of when the mayor went mad with power and became like the Fist of Justice, something like that. He thought he was a superhero because he got a hot air balloon and an extendo boxing glove. And was like, the Fist of Justice! Which would not be... Oh, Jesus, that... There's so much of this on our... we have Mumble, and every single room has an icon that goes up for it. So you'll get things like that creepy cyber face, and you'll get like an old Japanese painting of a dude raping a swan, and a Kappa guy raping a swan, and or Tengu because of nose, and I think at one point it was Gaben, the fat gray-haired steam valve guy. But it was like increasingly zoomed in pictures for each one you went on for the icon.
Yeah, anyway, we're talking about her crying the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, well, we got it back to that. But yeah, the snow decoys, and then giant girl like breaks down the wall behind him, so he flips out and turns around, and then when he knocks her over, then she gets the frying pan in the back of his head from Pan-chan. But I felt like that was... Everybody was like surprised. They were like, we're not ready for this. But when it actually happened. But they were also commenting like, oh, well, the trainings made this a lot easier. And Chicken Man's like, I've lost like 15 pounds. This is great. And
but he easily gains that back by just eating chicken. So
yeah, he's like, I lost 15 pounds. And like he's like the same. He's like, well, I gained it back over like each day after. But big thing I thought of that was they were like, wow, super villain. Okay, these are real now.
Yeah.
I almost felt like it was Samurai Flamenco.
Yeah.
That big turn that everybody flipped out about.
I remember.
Where all of a sudden it's like, Gorilla Minotaur Guillotine! Save the world, fucker! And like, I'm wondering if we're going for like a tonal shift, we are getting more actiony and goofy because they're out of ideas, or is it going to be a like psych out? Is it going to be like once a season kind of thing?
I think more once a season, because at its core is a slice of life. Samurai Flamenco is just, I don't even know. That whole series needs an analysis in and of itself.
That would probably go to the Eli on, actually. He watched all the way through, I believe, and was like...
Yeah, so did I.
Following the rage. You finished it? Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yep. I watched that all the way through.
Which half did you like? Because people seem pretty torn on which half was great, which one sucked.
I don't know. I think it kind of had like a gay end too, from what I remember. I think. I don't know. It was a weird show. I'd have to. That might be one that requires a rewatch just to try to understand it more.
Well, you know what? Everyone knows Samurai Flamenco, and what we do here, Anime Daydream, we dig deep. We find the ones that...
Not everyone knows Samurai Flamenco. That's kind of under the radar, but yeah.
Well, for the under the radar ones who don't know, then the short version is a guy becomes anime kick-ass. He decides, like, I'm gonna be a superhero with no powers. I'm just gonna report, like, parallel parkers and stop muggers. And then, mid-season, a man turns into a gorilla with a guillotine.
Yeah, nobody knew this was coming because this was original content. Yeah, this was original content. And also making this full circle.
And like the god of death appears, I think, and is like, "Stop me, Flamenco, or I'll kidnap your girlfriend." And like everyone's like, "What?" For like,
it pretty much turned into a Sentai show.
Yeah, legit. Like suddenly he's actually like shooting, like learning magic powers and crap, and fighting like demons, and everyone's like, "What has happened?" And they're like, "I miss my like slice of life action boy show." Others are like, "Yes, finally! Holy shit, this is awesome!" And it has a reason for why it changes that they explain at the end, but. No, not in our.
But also to come
Afterschool Club. No.
Yeah, but also to come full circle, the artist of Utena Prince Sama did the art for Samurai Flamenco.
Oh. I don't think it was the same person, but this one reminded me a bit of Nichijou with like a bit less.
Nichijou with a little bit more action, yeah.
It was a little more like.
And less dry comedy, yeah. Because Nichijou.
Yeah, this was a little more.
Like Nichijou just had like drops.
Yeah, so just Nichijou's like, I'll look out the window. Oh wait, my friend's hair fell off. Oh wait, the principal's suplexing the deer out the other window. I can't decide which way to look.
Yeah, pretty much. It had a lot of one-offs, so this was a more traditional slice of life.
Nichijou was written by a man who liked to fuck with people. That's what
Clearly.
It boiled down to.
But yeah, so I guess since we warmed up, we trained, and now it's time to cool down, so to speak. So I kept this episode structured.
Oh. Are we going for theme dialogue from now on? Is that our thing?
No, it just kind of worked out that way.
We're like, this is an action show. We're talking about it really fast. We can't stop talking. No time thinking. What's the character's name? We don't care. We're not Googling anything. Let's go.
I mean, if you guys really want us to, certainly, but I don't know. I kind of
When you recommend your shows, just the style or format in which we discuss it. Such as, listen to this show. Which character would you fuck? Who's your least favorite character?
Well, when we finally do a harem series, we'll be discussing this type of questions.
We should do one of those. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
maybe next week.
It was a little reverse harem with, But
nobody was really together. They were all, I felt like, asexual.
Wait, with the werewolf?
Eh?
The werewolf one?
No, I was talking about after school.
Oh yeah, this was nothing but romance, really, at all. But it was kind of, yeah, but everyone's in love with justice, kind of that series.
Well, yeah, reverse hair. The werewolf one, we did go over who we would bang. So, but I mean, like a traditional harem, we could talk about boobs and such.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Any chance to get on the microphone and globally discuss my opinion on boobs, parentheses, they're great.
It's very important and should have been on the electoral candidates minds, you know.
Wow.
Maybe would have gotten more people actually out there to vote.
Wow, we're getting a little topical here. I was talking about, obscure enemies, but we can go back about this, guys. Let's just go ahead and hit that stop button, and then we'll keep talking about it because it's totally going to be in recording, everybody. So I'm gonna be Greg when we talk about this politics.
But wait, Greg.
What?
We forgot to say what we liked about the show, or would we recommend it?
Well, I didn't give a number. Agreed. I was trying to hurry to get to the theme song comment. Yeah, it's cute, short.
I'd give it a solid 8. It's worth the watch.
Even 7.5, so you upgraded it.
No, that was the art style.
Oh, okay.
For the actual show as a whole, I give it an 8.
I give it a 9. It did its job.
Damn, you one up me again.
I'm easier going with. If you get me with something like, well, that's new, I'm generally more easygoing than you.
You gotta emotionally pull me in.
You'll watch more shows than I do, but you'll also get mad at those shows more than I do.
That's true. That's true.
You're more accepting, but you're harsher critic. I'm just critical to begin with, so I'm nah, give me a reason. You don't just get a chance.
No, I try to give everything a chance.
But they're giant ass karate. I'm listening. I'm do you mean, nope, we mean karate with giant asses. I'm I'm listening.
Yeah, so, any final comments or?
I think my final comment remains, I am Greg, but, Earwiggle Guy did get me a joke laugh every time. And his training was do it for 6 hours straight. And he's no, my muscles. I'm
yeah, so, but this is Angela and Boobs 2020.
Vote for Boobs next election?
Yep.
How will it? What's their policy? Do we even know yet?
Don't know.
Wow.
But that'd probably be a better candidate than what we had this year. Oh, snap.
I mean,
please note that Anime Daydream is not affiliated with any political party, and the statements here are not to offend anybody. It's all a joke.
Also, I don't care, but I mean, I can't argue with her. I want tits for president. At the very least, see what will happen. What does that mean?
I don't know, guys. Write in the comments what would happen if Boobs were president.
Grab a pussy.
And would they do a better job? Yes. Of Mr.
Grab a vagina and put it in the White House.
But yeah. So this is Angelo.
And still Greg.
And thanks for listening to Anime Daydreams and have a good dream.
I'm at the off button now. Dream beautifully, animes.
Alright.